What's going on, people? It's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns, host of that show called Sports Plus Life. All right, you guys know what's going down today. So guess what? Turn it off, turn it all the way off, boy. All right, what's going on again? Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Brandon Brevon Towns. This is Sports Plus Life, that show where we discuss the hot topics in sports that need to be discussed about. If this is your first time listening, definitely hit that subscription button and become part of the Sports Plus Life family. But how's everybody doing? Took a week off. Didn't do a podcast last week. Just decided to chill and look and see how things unfolded over the last week or so in sports before I decided to jump back on and give my opinion on things and matters. And we do have a lot to talk about. But how's everybody doing? It's a nice day, a little chilly, but a little cool day. Well, yesterday was a nice day, really kind of almost spring, but a cool yet a little chilly day here in the Richmond, VA. But it is Tuesday, February 18th, 2020. Okay, so I hope everybody's having a great day. It's a little early, just a little past noon where I'm at. So you guys will probably get this to my couple of subscribers. The notification will probably come in a few hours later, hopefully before I go to drama rehearsal tonight. But, without further ado, let's get to it. Okay. What I really did this weekend was just chill. It was NBA All-Star weekend, and I must say, the NBA did its thing in the All-Star weekend this past week. They really did. Chicago put on a great show. They had all of the athletes and actors and musicians that originate from Chicago, and they all came together, and they put on a great show. They did a great job honoring Kobe Bryant, honoring David Stern, and it was cool. And the All-Star Saturday night was great. It was great. Bam Adebayo winning the skills challenge. Big man beating the skills challenge, beating Domantas Sabonis, another big man, and then Buddy Hield winning the three-point contest on the very last shot, to beat Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns. And then the dunk contest, Lord have mercy. The dunk contest has been one of the most disappointing things during All-Star Weekend over the past few years. Not this one. Biatch. This one was awesome. It was dope. Even though the judges screwed it up, Dwayne Wade should never be a judge again in a dunk contest, at least as long as nobody from Miami is participating, because he was a homer. He wasn't objective with some of his scoring when it came to dunks. It just wasn't. Aaron Gordon got robbed again. Derek Jones, who won the dunk contest, was awesome. He was awesome, but Aaron Gordon was a little better. Biatch. I mean, he was. How do you get 4 50s in a dunk contest? Now, I know there was a point in time where the judges were just handing out 50s between him and Derek Jones Jr., and they had a dunk off, similar to the last dunk contest in Chicago in 1988 between Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins. And for the second time in a dunk contest in Chicago, there was a robbery. Dominique Wilkins got robbed when he lost to Michael Jordan in 88. And Aaron Gordon got robbed by Derek Jones Jr. And really it came down to the last dunk, because pretty much each dunker, and the other two contestants was I forget the guy's name, Covington or something, Pat Connaughton or something like that from the Milwaukee Bucks, who got hops. And Dwight Howard got back into the dunk contest, which was pretty cool. Him putting the Superman cape on and having, the 24 overlapping the S on the chest. That was pretty cool. Dwight didn't make it out of the first round. I mean, you could see after the first couple of dunks that it was going to be between Aaron Gordon and Derrick Jones Jr. Pretty much, Derrick Jones Jr. the whole night was just going between the legs. Now there was some difficulty. He jumped over a couple of people, and went between the legs. Caught one off the backboard caught an alley off the backboard, went in between the legs. Caught somebody hit the side of the backboard, and he came and between the legs dunked it. So we know that he has between the leg dunks down packed. He has that down packed to a science. Aaron Gordon was, pretty much having people, mainly Chance the Rapper, hold the ball on his shoulders, and he would come, grab the ball and dunk over it and do something sick. But to me, his sickest dunk was when he got Markelle Fultz to throw it off the backboard, and he caught it with one hand and did a 360 windmill all with one hand. It was ridiculously sick. It was, but it came down to the last dunk. Derrick Jones Jr. raced the length of the court, maybe looking like he was going to do the free throw line dunk. He didn't. He was just inside the free throw line and did a windmill, not between the legs, but just did a windmill. Nice dunk, pretty cool dunk. Got, I want to say, was a 48. And then Aaron Gordon, I think he was like pretty much out of dunks. So he called in the crowd. He saw Taco Falls. If you know who Taco Falls is, he's the tallest player in the NBA. He's from Africa. He last year was playing with University of Central Florida on the team that actually during the NCAA tournament, they won their first round game against VCU. But got Taco Falls out the crowd because he, plays for the Boston Celtics, and jumped over him for his last dunk. How the hell they gave him a 47 and he lost the contest?
God damn!
What? I was like, how y'all do this man like that? I was like, yo, that was BS. Like, Aaron Gordon, if you watch 2 of the 3 dunk contests that Aaron Gordon that have been in, he has come up with some of the best dunks ever. Ever. I mean, a couple of years ago when he jumped over the mascot and put the ball not between his legs, but under both of them and dunked it, that was sick. And then catching the lob off the backboard, one hand 360 windmill. I mean, it was
these nuts.
The dunk contest this past weekend was something special, but the judges had to do something to screw it up, and that's what they did. They screwed it up. But to me, Aaron Gordon, you got that, bro. You got it. You've been robbed twice. And he said he's not going to do the dunk contest again, and I don't blame him. I'm going to keep coming out here putting on a show, and y'all going to keep robbing me?
Fuck you, and fuck you.
And next year, Zion is going to be in the dunk contest. I guarantee you that. So, hey, please. Ain't nobody winning that. But Zion. I would like to see him come back. Derrick Jones Jr., I'm pretty sure, is going to come back. Of course, we know what you're going to do. You're going to do between the legs dunks all night, I remember when the first between the leg dunk was done in the contest. Maybe showing my age here, but 1994 in Minnesota, J.R. Ryder, or Isaiah Ryder, was the first one to pull that one off. And people now have kind of OD'd with it, I mean, because people don't realize. Well, I guess nowadays, if you were born in the 90s or mid 90s, between the legs dunk ain't nothing. That's pretty common, With me being born in the 80s, me coming up specifically watching dunk contests. Like I said, I was 10. Yeah, I was 10 when the first between the legs dunk was done. But growing up watching, Sean Kemp and, D. Brown when he won it, Dominique Wilkins when I was real young, Harold Miner, guys like that, and then Kobe when he won the dunk contest. I mean, to me, still the greatest single performance in a dunk contest to me is still Vince Carter. Aaron Gordon was close, man. That's why I'm like, how the hell did you lose? I mean, how the hell did they take that from him? But now as far as competition goes, this was the best dunk contest since, people say the best one since Jordan Wilkins, and I think they're getting caught up in the spirit because it was in Chicago. But I don't know if people remember the 2003 dunk contest between Jason Richardson and Desmond Mason. That one was special because they were going at it. That one was special. People need to go back and look at that dunk contest. Them boys was going at each other. They were. Desmond Mason was a slam dunk champion. Jason Richardson, matter of fact, you had your last two winners of the slam dunk champion of the slam dunk contest going at it, and they put on a show. But as far as the All-Star game goes, they had a new format that they designed, in honor of Kobe, and donating to charities. Each quarter, they would start the score at 0-0, and of course, you would tally up the points after three. LeBron's team, LeBron won the first quarter. Team Giannis won the second, and I was kind of like, to the new format. Then the fourth quarter, the first one to get to 24, the score 24 points, of course, in honor of Kobe. I think it was dope that Team Giannis wore, everybody from Team Giannis wore number 24 for Kobe, and everybody from Team LeBron wore number 2 for his daughter Gianna. I thought that was dope. But the fourth quarter, when it was time, I'll tell you, the game to me was pretty much the regular no defense playground style ball. But that fourth quarter, man, that's the way the All-Star game used to be. When I was growing up, watching it in the early 90s, that's the way it used to be. They used to go for it. It was competition. It was, I'm betting back when, and I still personally think that they should go back to East versus West. I do, personally, as far as the format goes, because if you look at the lineups, pretty much Giannis picked everybody from the East. LeBron picked everybody from the West. In a nutshell, with maybe the exception, I think LeBron had Ben Simmons on his team from the 76ers. But other than that, for the most part, it was East versus West anyway. But the fourth quarter was something was dope. They was, people. Kyle Lowry was taking charges. Chris Paul was fussing at the ref in midseason mode. Giannis blocking LeBron.
What about the wiener?
I was like, hold up, because I had to go back and watch it. Because what the hell was I watching? I had watched up to halftime, and I just wanted to watch Dr. Sleep. I wanted to watch Dr. Sleep before I fell asleep. So that's what I was watching, and then I kept hearing, the fourth quarter was nasty. The fourth quarter was great. Matter of fact, when Dr. Sleep went off, it was Anthony Davis was at the foul line with a chance to win the game. So I was like, hold on. I had to go back and watch the fourth quarter. I was like, yo, this is what I'm talking about. This is how, and it capped off a great weekend, All-Star weekend. Kawhi Leonard was the MVP of the game, scoring 30 points. And the NBA also changed the name of the MVP trophy to the Kobe Bryant MVP All-Star Award. Like I said, I think that was another classy move. They have done so much as far as honoring Kobe, and his daughter since the tragic passing about 3 weeks ago. And it's been really good. It's been, it's almost a shame that in death do you actually have to find out how much people really appreciate you and love you. But, it is what it is. But the NBA did great. The only thing that things that could have been different is, one, winning the game at the foul line, being able to win the game at the foul line. That was kind of, very anticlimactic. And Shaka Khan singing the national anthem. She was all over the place. She was all over the place. I was like, everybody be saying Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan. And she was like, I was trying to make dinner and stuff like that, and all I could hear was, I was like, yo, what is she doing? And of course, they started comparing to when Fergie did it a couple of years ago in L.A. when the players were laughing. I had forgot all about that, and then I had to go back and watch it when Fergie said, and Draymond Green and Steph Curry, it was just a week. Oh, man, but all in all, man, the All-Star weekend was great. It was great because that used to be one of the things that I would look forward to, in the beginning of the year was the NBA All-Star weekend because it used to truly be great. It did. It used to truly be awesome. And I think what was starting to spoil All-Star weekend for me was honestly the dunk contest. Because the dunk contest, you just have now pretty much a bunch of no names in there, and it's just not, because now the stars done got bougie and they don't want to do the dunk contest no more, and I think that's been spearheaded by LeBron James because LeBron's never done a dunk contest because I think he's afraid to lose, but like I said, this dunk contest was pretty good because, one, you did have some notable names in there. Dwight Howard's a future Hall of Fame and former dunk contest champion. Aaron Gordon, like I said, has done some of the best dunks that we've ever seen in the dunk contest. And he was a star in Uncle Drew. He was Casper in Uncle Drew. We had kind of heard of Derrick Jones Jr. and the dude from the Bucks. So, I mean, this was better than previous years. And like I said, next year I know Zion is going to be in it. I hope Ja Morant is in it too. And so now with All-Star weekend out the way, now I can concentrate on some hardcore NBA basketball because 3/4 of the season is over. It's not the halfway point of the NBA season. It's damn near over. The playoffs are going to be starting in 2 months. 2 months is going to be playoff time, and people really need to start positioning themselves. The Milwaukee Bucks, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt, unless they have a huge fall off, it will be the number 1 seed in the East. Will they try to push the envelope to get to 70 wins? And of course, now the way the culture of the way people analyze the NBA has gotten so bitchified. Everybody wants to say, well, you shouldn't push because you should load manage because, and people make me sick to my stomach with that. When the Bulls once went 72-10, the word load manage didn't exist. It did not exist. When the Warriors went 73-9, they say only because the reason why they lost the championship to Cleveland was because they didn't load manage during the season because they tried to chase that record. That's the biggest crock of crap that I had ever heard. No, they lost the championship because they got screwed by LeBron James and the NBA with them suspending Draymond Green. That's why they did not win the championship. It had nothing to do with them going 73-9. I mean, people who sit up there and say this stuff, particularly people who are older than me, who've been covering the NBA for such a long time or watching NBA for such a long time, who knew nothing about load management when they were growing up watching the NBA. They did, that stuff did not exist. And the NBA got along just fine. But now they're saying, well, they need to load manage. No, shut up. Shut up.
Biatch.
You weren't saying that 20 years ago. You weren't, and that was the Shaq and Kobe era. You weren't saying that 30 years ago when in the Bulls, in the 90s, when the Bulls won 6 chips. You weren't saying that 40 years ago when the Lakers won 5 championships and the Celtics won 3 championships. Nobody was saying anything about, well, you need to load manage play. No. What? Huh? It's like people, the dynamic of people's minds can change so easily. And it's it's funny, but it's sad at the same point. It really is.
Settle down just a little bit.
Like I said, I point more towards the players, even though Greg Popovich started this bullshit. But I point more to the players because, the players now are cheating the game. And I've gone on a tirade about this before, but, the players are cheating the game with this load management crap.
You suck.
And it's like the more money, how the hell do you want to make more money and do less work? That's backwards. But anyway, I think the Bucks will try to make a run for 70. Their record is, 46-8? I think they know they're not gonna reach 73-9, and I think they know they're not gonna go undefeated the rest of the season to break that record of the Warriors. But maybe they might try to finish 70-12. I see them probably winning about. I see them falling about 2 or 3 games short. I see them getting 66. I see them about 67, 68 wins, which is still going to be enough for tops in the East. The Lakers have the best record in the West, 41-12, and they're saying, should LeBron load manage now? Like, bruh, no. I mean, look, I will say this. I appreciate this from LeBron that he's saying if he's healthy, he's going to play. I appreciate that because I'm sick and tired of seeing players cheat the game. And, one thing is that if it's between the Lakers and Clippers, home court advantage is not going to matter. It's not going to matter. But what you should still be mindful of, a couple of things. One, for the Western Conference, make sure that Denver don't catch you. So he needs to play, AD needs to play, make sure that Denver does not catch you for that top spot in the West. And then, second, should the Bucks be knocked off by somebody else in the East, like, say, should Toronto knock the Bucks off again? You want to make sure that you have a better record than them. You have to make sure that you have a better record than everybody else in the East other than the Bucks. I mean, pretty much we have no choice but to concede the best record in the league to the Bucks, unless they have a major drop-off. So LeBron and the rest of the crew needs to play. They don't need to load management unless it's about 12 games left in the season and you're about 2 or 3 games away from locking everything up as far as the Western Conference goes. But even then, I would still pay attention to those other teams in the East. I would pay attention to Toronto. I would pay attention to Boston. Miami, even though they just got Andre Iguodala and everybody's all hype about that, I think Miami's about to come back down to earth. Because for all the rah-rah that's been about Miami, the rah-rah started when Miami was the number 2 seed in the East. They have tailed down to the number 4 spot and are only a game and a half, out of being in the 5th spot. So I think people need to, as great as they've looked with Jimmy Butler, and I think he should be a legit MVP candidate, as great as they've looked through the first 2/3 of the season, there has been a slight tail off, and only because Toronto has played so great. They had won 15 straight before they lost their last game before the All-Star break. Boston has looked great. They've gone 8-2 in their last 10 games. And Philadelphia is starting to wake up. Indiana is where I think they're going to be at. I think Indiana is going to be in that 6th spot. And, it's going to be a battle between who finishes in 7th or 8th between Brooklyn and Orlando. Right now, Brooklyn at 25-28 and Orlando at 24-31 are kind of comfortable in their position of 7 and 8. You got Washington, who's 20-33, who is 9th in the West, and then Chicago, who is 19-36. So, you have 5 teams in the Eastern Conference who are legitimate threats to get out of the East, and I'm not poo-pooing on Indiana, but they're not getting out of the East. They're probably not getting out of the first round. But you have 5 teams in the Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, Heat, and Philadelphia who have a legit chance to come out of the East. And you have the Pacers, who are a good, solid basketball team. And then you have everybody else is pathetic in the Eastern Conference. A little bit different in the West. Like I said, the Lakers need to hold down that number 1 seed. You got the Nuggets at number 2, only a game back. Only a game ahead of the Clippers, who are number 3, and the Clippers are only a half game ahead of Utah for number 4. Everybody is pretty much banking on a Lakers-Clippers Western Conference Championship series round. They're looking for a Lakers-Clippers Western Conference Championship showdown. I'm trying to tell people that's not totally in the bag yet. Because you could mess around and get a Lakers-Clippers second round series. And everybody would be disappointed.
God damn!
Everybody would be disappointed. And it's really, the onus is, honestly, it's not on the Lakers. The Lakers have been number one in the West pretty much the whole season. But the Clippers, because of load managing and then with players just not being able to stay healthy. Look, when the Clippers are healthy, they're better than the Lakers. I have no problem with saying that, even though I'm a Laker fan. But Paul George he's having some trouble with that hamstring. Patrick Beverley is now nicked up. Kawhi Leonard, I believe, would legit probably maybe win the MVP if he wasn't load managing all of the time. And like I said, the Clippers are a game back of the 2nd seed, but they're only a half game away from being pushed into the 4th seed. So let's think about that now. You know, ain't no gimme that the Lakers and the Clippers are going to meet in round 3 in the Western Conference Finals. They could easily meet in round 2. And boy, would the NBA be disappointed. They would. They don't want to see the Lakers and the Clippers. They want to see the Lakers and the Clippers in the playoffs, yes. They don't want to see it in the 2nd round. They want to see it with the right to go to the NBA Finals on the line. That's what they want to see. I mean, that's what I want to see too. And like I said, the Lakers are doing their part to make sure that matchup happens. I'm like this. Look, if you're the Clippers, either you're going to finish in the 2nd or 3rd spot, or either you're going to finish in the 6th spot. Don't finish in that 4 or 5 range. No, don't do that. You know, so either you're going to tighten up or you're going to fall off. And if you fall off, just stay around that 6, 7 spot. I don't see that happening, though. Speaking of which, Houston, who's, going to small ball, they're the 5th seed. I said the Clippers are a half game ahead of Utah. Utah is very dangerous. Very dangerous. Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Ingles, they're a dangerous team. They're a steady, sturdy, bulldog, tough team, like the Denver Nuggets. OKC, they've had, well, not to me, but I think a lot of people are surprised at the type of season that they are having, that they've climbed up to 6 in the West. And they're tied for 6 with the Dallas Mavericks at a 33-22 record. They'll be in the playoffs, and they'll give somebody a headache in the 1st round. They're not going to advance out of the 1st round unless somehow they can move up to the 5th spot, which is possible. They're only a half game out of the 5th seed. And then the 8th seed is a real surprise to everybody else, the Memphis Grizzlies. And they're strictly working off of young talent. They are playing with house money, no notable big-name free agents. Ja Morant, who should be the Rookie of the Year, only because Zion just started playing. Because I'm not gonna front. Zion Williamson has been great since he started playing, and I still think he needs to get into shape. But man, he has been awesome. He has been. If he stays in shape, he has a hell of a career ahead of him. But Memphis right now sits in that 8th spot. I just don't know if it's going to last, because you have Portland right on the outside looking in and saying it. I don't think the Spurs are going to make the playoffs. I just don't. I know the Spurs are right behind the Blazers in the 10th spot. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. I think this is the year the streak ends. But I believe Portland is going to sneak in the back door and get that 8th spot. And to be honest with you, I'd rather see Portland get the 7th spot. I don't want to see Portland in a 1st round series. Not saying that the Lakers would lose to them, no, but the Lakers would definitely get pushed. Damian Lillard, and especially if Dame is on his game, and he's been killing it. McCollum, if he's on his game. Whiteside, Melo, that would be a dangerous 1st round matchup. Like I said, I'm not saying Portland would win, but I could see that series easily going a hard-fought 6 games. But I think Portland is going to make a run to get to backdoor themselves into the playoffs. So, yeah, it's definitely time to get hella focused on the NBA. And that's all I want to discuss about that topic. Now I'm going to go into some NFL. I'm going to first start about the NFL with this Myles Garrett thing. Now, the NFL just reinstated Myles Garrett from the brawl that happened where he hit Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph with a helmet in the regular season. I don't know if you guys go back and watch. It was a Sports Plus Life quickie that I did, and that was a live action one that I did where I showed what had happened again and gave my opinion on it because of the way Myles Garrett snapped off. One of the things that I said on there, and this was the day after it happened, I said, did he call him a nigga or something? Well, he came out not too long after that and said, yeah, it was a racial slur that he said. And then he had an interview this past weekend with ESPN, and he said that Mason Rudolph called him, said you dumb nigga or you stupid nigga or something like that. But it was the N-word, and that's what set him off. Mason Rudolph has called him a bold-faced liar and is thinking about his legal team talking about suing Myles Garrett for defamation of character. I'm going to be honest with you. You might want to go ahead and do that if you know without a shadow of a doubt that in the heat of a scuffle that word, and you know that word didn't come out of your mouth, because this is my thing. Now, I don't want to say that Myles Garrett is saying this to use this as an excuse to justify what he did. But what the hell happened to set him off like that? That's the most frustrating thing. Is because no microphones were on or anything like that. No other players. I think one player, Agbayani, came up and said, yeah, he said a racial slur. At least that's what I think Myles Garrett told him. So everybody's asking, well, why didn't you just come out after this happened and tell and say that, this is why you swung your helmet at him? And he said in the interview, I just kind of wanted it. I just didn't want to, open up that can of worms.
Get out of here.
I mean, then say, okay, well, if you didn't want to do it then, well, why are you doing it now? So I don't know if he's trying to do damage control to his own rep, but I'm not going to sit here and dismiss and just say, he's just saying that to justify his action, because what if Mason Rudolph really did say that?
Get your damn act together.
What if he really did call him a nigga? Or what if he thought he heard him call him a nigga? Now that happens. That can happen to people where you can think you heard something, but that's not exactly what was said. And you can think you can hear something and it can set you off, when in fact that's not exactly what was said. But in the heat of the moment, that's what you thought you heard. Am I going too fast for y'all? But also the former general manager of the Cleveland Browns, John Dorsey, has just recently come out and said that, yes, this is what Myles Garrett did tell me, that he called him the N-word right after the game. So why didn't you address that to the media or to the league office if he told you that and you were the general manager? So some things don't make sense, but I'm still not going to say that. I'm not going to flat out call Myles Garrett a liar. I'm not going to sit out here and say that he said that to justify his actions, but it's just kind of like, I mean, hell, I'm not trying to be funny. Bill Cosby is in jail, for rape. And all of these people, all these women came out and said that he did this after the fact, years and years and years after the fact. Didn't change the fact that he's now in jail for rape. Somebody else just came out talking about R. Kelly had, done something with her when she was like 14 years old. All of these years later. I mean, so I guess every situation is different. I mean, now in a case of Myles Garrett, this isn't years later. This is, not even 6 months later. But it's like, why didn't you say something right after the fact? That's the only question that I would have, because, I mean, to hit something, and I'm going to say this, if he called him, if he did call him a nigga, then he should have hit him in the head with a damn helmet. If he said that, if that is indeed true. Because, I mean, because like I said before, if you watch the fight, You know, for one, look, look, the game was over. It was like 21-7. There was 6 seconds left. The hell is you running a screen pass for? There's no such thing as a 14-point play in football. So people need to really, a lot of this shit is on the Pittsburgh Steelers too. Because you know the game's over. You know you're not winning. Run the ball or kneel the ball. Get the hell out of Dodge. You know? So when and they're saying, well, it's an unwritten rule that, in a situation like that, you don't hit the quarterback. The hell with an unwritten rule. You want to run a pass play knowing that we up 2 touchdowns, it's under 10 seconds to go. You lost, bro. But you want to keep playing? So I'm going to keep playing. That wasn't roughing the quarterback what Myles Garrett did. People who are saying that need to shut the hell up. That was not roughing the quarterback. Mason Rudolph was salty because he sucked the entire game.
You suck.
Straight up. He was horrible the entire game. So, okay, y'all tussling. You try to rip his helmet off. Myles Garrett instead rips your helmet off. One of the Steelers' offensive linemen was walking him away. Mason Rudolph comes back at him, talking shit, and then the helmet. Whew. So, it's just stirring up a lot of conversation because of the word that is being said was used. Mike Tomlin came on First Take yesterday defending his quarterback because he doesn't believe that's what was said. But also Mike Tomlin is like, look, man, let's just be quiet and just move forward. And I don't disagree with that. But like I said, I'm not going to sit here and just say, yes, Myles Garrett is late to the party with saying this. But I'm not just going to look at him as to why he delivered this message late. If you're former Cleveland general manager John Dorsey, why the hell didn't you address the NFL or address the media right after Myles Garrett told you? Maybe Myles Garrett said, no, don't, because I don't open up that can of worms. Maybe. But if you heard all of the salt, all of the disrespect that was being thrown on Myles Garrett's name, and rightfully so because of the information that people did or did not know that stemmed from his actions, if it was me, I'd have came out and said something right then and there. That's just saying if it was me. I'd have been like, no, look, this is why I did this, because he called me a nigga. And you know what? If I see him on the street, I'm going to bust his ass to the white meat. That's how I would have sold it. That's exactly how I would sell it. So that, boy, can't wait to see that first Steelers Browns game, even though let's hope that it's not Mason Rudolph playing. Let's just hope it's Ben Roethlisberger. On the free agency, Drew Brees just announced today that he will be returning for the 2020 season. He is a free agent. I'm pretty sure it's going to be to the Saints, which is interesting because what do you do with Teddy Bridgewater? Do you keep him for another year? I'm sure Teddy wants the opportunity to be a starting quarterback. I thought he played great last year in relief of Drew Brees. If Sean Payton and the Saints staff are smart, they will definitely try to keep Teddy Bridgewater because he seemed to understand that offense. And by the time, you could see the confidence that was being entrusted in Teddy Bridgewater as that 5-game stretch went along. It was just don't lose it for us in his first start against the Cowboys to his last couple of starts. He was flinging that football around. He was. And another notable free agent quarterback will be Thomas Brady. Tom Brady is going to be a free agent, and it's all everybody's talking about. Will he come back to the Patriots? Will he go to the Cowboys? Will he go to the Chargers? I don't care. Personally, I've already said where I think Tom Brady should go. If he really wants to show that he hasn't lost it and he needs offensive weapons, yeah, I guess Dallas is in a prime would be a prime position. But you really gonna shit on Dak Prescott like that? If they do, that's just wrong. It is, and I hate the Cowboys. But if they do that to Dak Prescott, that is fucked up. If they do that to Dak Prescott, bring him to Denver. I'm serious. Yeah. But I think the team that Tom Brady should go to is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. you have a quarterback coach in Bruce Arians. Not that Tom Brady needs a quarterback coach, but I think their two minds would mesh very well. You got Mike Evans. You got Chris Godwin. You got O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, Perriman. I mean, that team is loaded with offense. Jameis Winston led the league in passing for a reason. You know, if I was Tom Brady, that's where I'd be looking to go. I mean, yes, the Chargers had Keenan Allen and they have Mike Williams. I mean, that's cool. But then you're gonna run the risk of having to play Patrick Mahomes twice. You know, because I'll tell you this right now, you go to the AFC West, you ain't winning that division. I don't give a damn what you say. You're not winning that division. You might come close, but you ain't winning that division. As long as Patrick Mahomes stay healthy, you're not winning that division. You're not. And Phillip Rivers, he will no longer be the quarterback of the Los Angeles Chargers. 17 years. And he still wants to play. Something is telling me that he's going to end up being the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Bucks because he's just moved to Florida. Now, to me, you know what would be funny? If Tom Brady actually went to be the quarterback of the Dolphins. That would be hilarious to me. That would. Just to really, really, really stick it to Bill Belichick. If he would go be the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. I think that would be fucking hilarious. I do. I do. I know that's not going to happen. Because the Dolphins, while they do have weapons, they're not contending for nothing. You know, I don't know if they're going to get Tua or if they're going to get the boy from Oregon, you know, in the draft. So, who knows? So, football free agency is definitely going to heat up. The combine is coming up. And the XFL has been kind of litty. The XFL has been kind of litty. You know, the offense was not very pretty in week 2. But they hit on week 1. And, you know, they have some names that you know. Josh Johnson is the quarterback for the LA team. Cardell Jones is the quarterback for the DC Defenders, who people are actually saying are better than the Redskins. I think that's funny. I think Landry Jones is the quarterback for the Dallas team, if I'm not mistaken. Houston has a quarterback by the name of P.J. Walker, and he's been showing out. Him and Cardell Jones have been showing out. And so this is where Vince McMahon is going to really have to this is what Vince McMahon is really going to have to do if he truly wants this league to be successful, because right now it is trending, it's hitting. You know, attendance for the games were increased in week 2 as opposed to week 1, and everybody was on it in week 1. So if this is going to work, you know, you've been getting your game shown on Fox and ESPN and ABC, which is, you know, which owns ESPN. And, you know, that's all under the Disney umbrella, whatever. But you've been getting your games showed. You've definitely had the marketing. You've definitely gotten the publicity everything that you could have wanted. You know, to be truly successful, for one, to not end up like the AAF, who couldn't even finish the season last year. I think they're gonna finish the season. But what you need to do is find you a star, man, who's willing to stick with you. You know, one of these quarterbacks need to really, you know, step their game up and are willing to stick with your league. You know, you got to be on some real life Any Given Sunday type shit where you had the Miami Sharks and the crosstown rival Miami Dolphins, blase. And that's going to be tough because every player, every quarterback, every running back, every receiver, every defensive player, every player at every position that shows out, you know, they're going to try to chase that NFL check. And there lies the problem with Vince McMahon. There lies the problem that Vince McMahon could face. This is why I wish I could talk to Vince McMahon, because I have an idea for the league, for his league, that won't be more or less in competition with the NFL, but more or less be in competition with the NCAA. You feel me? Follow me on this if I haven't said this before. What I would do if I was the XFL, if I was Vince McMahon, I would allow players to come and play professionally in my league out of high school. I would still, if you want to have your also-rans and NFL rejects still play, fine, cool. And I understand you probably say, well, those are grown men who would be hitting kids. Okay, and I mean, I hate to sound cold about that, but all right, okay. You know, I mean, and I'll tell you why. Because one, it would pretty much be almost like minor league to the NFL. It doesn't have to be, but what have we been saying for the last few years about the NCAA? How the NCAA is just a giant pimp who's been getting over on football and basketball athletes for decades, making billions of dollars off of the backs of these kids playing football and basketball, and then they get in trouble if somebody wants to come and get them $100, you know, for just to tide you over through the week. You get in trouble for that shit. That's whack. That's lame. You know, so I would make it so players can play in that league coming out of high school. The one challenge that you would have is that you would have to get the recruits, those 5-star recruits who go to LSU and Clemson and Alabama and Michigan and Ohio State, to get them to come play in your league. And then see, this is how you can do it. If you can afford to pay these top recruits coming out of high school to come play, be a professional athlete, if you can pay them, let's just say about $50,000 a year, right? If you pay them $50,000 a year, but they still want to go to college. You know, you have your players that still want to get a degree. That's fine. That's great. That's gravy. So you're getting them $50,000 a year, and you can make it so, okay, you still want to go to college, you still want to go to this university, okay, this is about $30,000 a year. So what we're doing is you're making $50,000, $60,000 a year, but we'll take your college tuition money, we'll take that out of your salary that you're supposed to make this year. So that way you're still going to college, you're still enrolled in college, and you're still a professional athlete. You're just not playing sports for the university, but you're playing sports for the XFL, and you're getting paid. You're still getting paid, and your college tuition is paid for. Just if you're making $50,000, $60,000 a year, and you use, you know, your game money to pay for your college, you would still be making about $20,000, $30,000 a year. And then on top of that, what is it, a 3-year wait requirement for the NFL? If you come there and you play for 3 years and you doing your thing and you still want to sign with the NFL when you get 21, 22 years old, man, have at it. Have at it. But by that time, you would have a steady flow of high school recruits coming to play for your professional league. And that's not really competing with the NFL. Now, if you have players that say, hey, no, I'm just going to stick with the XFL, that's even better. But you have that league, you know, and you can, like I said, if you still want to have your also-rans and people that didn't pan out in the NFL, fine. No, that's even better. More teams, more revenue, more jobs. Booyah. You know, because they're going to have a problem if you have a player truly emerge as the face of the XFL, like they're saying Landry Jones is supposed to be the face of the XFL. If he shows out, he's going to go to an NFL roster because they can pay more unless Vince McMahon ups the pay. You know, that just is what it is. Boy, I'm telling you, that boy got some brains on him. Somebody get me in contact with Vince McMahon. We get through this season of the XFL, but then we make that change for next season. Guarantee you have a long-lasting football league. Guarantee. And next, talk about something that really irks my damn nerves. Major League Baseball. Now, everybody who's kept up with any type of sports knows about the Houston Astros cheating scandal that, they implemented literally an electronic system to cheat to win the 2017 World Series over the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Toon, one of their coaches, went on to become the manager of the Boston Red Sox the very next season. And lo and behold, the Boston Red Sox won the 2018 World Series championship. So what happens? The owner of the Houston Astros fires the manager, fires the general manager. Baseball bans them for a year. Carlos Beltran is supposed to be the manager of the New York Mets this season. He gets fired before it even starts. The manager who went on to be with the Boston Red Sox, he got fired. Okay, but here's the problem. For one, the players got granted immunity pretty much to snitch. And then on top of that, that's all the punishment that was handed down. Bruh, this is why baseball pisses me off. Because the first thing that comes out of any true diehard baseball fan or player or anything else like that who really has a voice likes to say, well, we're trying to protect the integrity of the game. Bruh, baseball doesn't have any integrity. I hate to break it to you, baseball fans. There is no integrity in Major League Baseball. You know what we're finding out about Major League Baseball? That motherfuckers cheat all the time. And don't think that it just started in the last couple of years. Don't think that, well, people say that's all the steroid era was cheating. Man, the steroid era is nothing compared to what the Houston Astros have really gotten away with. They've gotten away with this. I said this before when I first talked about this. If you really want to hit somebody where it hurts, to set a new precedent, to show that you actually do have some kind of integrity and that this is not going to be tolerated by Major League Baseball, you have to take that 2017 World Series championship trophy away from them. They should no longer be recognized as World Series champions in 2017. The Boston Red Sox do not need to be recognized as World Series champions in 2018. Even though you haven't found nothing like you did with Houston with the 2018 Red Sox. But come on now, the writing is on the wall. The same dude who was in charge of getting the camera equipment in the Houston goes to manage the Red Sox, and then they win it the next year. That's no coincidence, bruh. That's no coincidence whatsoever. Baseball is full of shit. I'm going to say it point blank, period. Baseball is full of doo-doo. There is no integrity in baseball. None. And what the hell is Pete Rose still banned for? I mean, are you serious? And then Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, is going to come out and defend his position of the punishments that he laid out, and then said he doesn't want any retaliation done on the field to the Houston Astros. So not only did you not penalize them enough, now you're protecting them. And they flat out they cheated. They cheated. They were caught. This isn't just one or two players or even 5 or 6 players, conspiring to cheat, to steal signs. The whole team was in on it. You had a system set up in place where you could do this. You were banging on trash cans because you were looking at what pitches was getting ready to come to your batters. That is cheating at the highest level to get a competitive edge. I mean, they didn't play chess of we're trying to figure out just by using the human eye to see what signals were coming up to try to kind of decode it just by kind of guessing, playing chess, not checkers. These niggas just skipped around all that. It's terrible. And once again, baseball finds a way to screw it up, but then still talk about we want to protect the integrity of the game. Baseball lost its integrity a long, long, long time ago. A long time ago. With the whole steroid, baseball lost their integrity with me when the whole steroid era hit, when Jose Canseco who, if he was in prison, wouldn't have lasted 48 hours, maybe not 24 hours, when he came out with that tell-all book and list or whatever, or who was on steroids, and baseball act like they knew nothing about it. That's when I was really done with baseball. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. When the list of people who were on the Mitchell report, whatever it was, where all these players he dimed all these players out for using steroids, and baseball acted so shocked and so offended. And I'm like, get out of here. They knew. Baseball just turned a blind eye. It's the same thing as the Houston Astros general manager. You know, when he found out about the incident with the stealing the signs. You know what? I don't care what you do, but if you get caught, I don't know shit about it. That's what baseball did with the steroid era. You know why they didn't care? Because they were too busy counting the billions and billions of dollars that they was getting from these motherfuckers knocking the ball out the park. Remember the commercial? Chicks dig the long ball? Come on now. They knew. They knew. And so what have you done? You've kept to protect the integrity of the game. You've kept these players out of the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds, who's the greatest baseball player ever, with or without steroids, is not in the Hall of Fame. Roger Clemens is not in the Hall of Fame. Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa is not in the Hall of Fame. They're still around baseball. They're not in the Hall of Fame, though. A-Rod, who has done the best image turnaround I've ever seen by somebody, outside of Mike Tyson, is not in the Hall of Fame. So now you really have a chance. You have caught a team red-handed cheating. Red-handed. And what do? You suspend a couple of people. Take that trophy!
Biatch!
I mean, what's it going to say on the record books? 2017 Houston Astros world champions. Sort of. Nah, man. It just needs to say vacant. That's all. That's all. I mean, if you really want to send a strong message that this will not be tolerated, then that's what you do. Like I said, they do it in the NCAA all the time. But boy, that's what we would see. We never fall out. We never get out of step one. We really don't. We really, really don't. And that's not just with sports. That's with life. That's why it's called Sports Plus Life. We don't get out of step one. You know, you caught them cheating. You suspended them. You suspended the manager, the general manager, for a year. And the other managers ended up losing their job. That's still all a part of step one. What's the resolution? Because they haven't resolved anything. There are players out there who are absolutely pissed off and will probably seek retaliation on the Houston Astros. And the Astros players are actually being dicks about it. I mean, for real. I mean, you was in on it. You were in on it. You know, it's just crazy. That is just crazy. And again, with the baseball with a chance to really bring a solution to it, to take that title, they don't get out of step one. They don't. They just want, just like a lot of higher ups with things that happen, you just want it to die down. Like with police brutality to people of color. Okay, we're addressing it. We're talking about it. And that's why I don't pay attention to stuff like that anymore. We're having the conversation. Okay, so what? What comes from the conversation? Because the actions haven't stopped. We don't get out of step one. We don't move from step one. We just wait for it to blow over until it happens again. And what will happen? The same thing. We just want it to blow over, Yeah, okay, we'll be out there marching and having signs and things like that. That's step one. That's it. That's it. Before I go to the next topic, I wanted to say something about Antonio Brown, because he's now been on an apology tour. He was just on the Breakfast Club and still kind of making himself to seem like a victim. Good for him for saying that he wants to surround himself with people who are just positive, who want the best for him and not want something from him, because, that appears to be the only type of people that he had in his circle. But, either Antonio Brown really does have some mental issues, or he has had this very well calculated. Because, when you have somebody who's bipolar, one moment they're good, or one day they're good, the next day they could be totally off their rocker. Antonio Brown has been a dick for about the last year. I mean, he really has. He's just been a flat out a-hole the last year. And then all of a sudden, he's sorry to the Steelers. He's apologizing to everybody. He's apologizing to the Steelers. He apologizing to Ben Roethlisberger, apologizing to baby mama, apologizing to the Florida Police Department. I think I got a phone call. I think he apologized to me for something. I don't even know him. I mean, he's just been apologizing to everybody, trying to get back into that football league. And maybe he's sincere, maybe not. To be continued. Another quick note to order. This just happened. Apparently President Donald Trump has pardoned 49ers owner Eddie DeBartolo. In 1998, he pled guilty in a federal court to a felony charge of failing to report that the Louisiana former governor allegedly extorted $400,000 from him to win a casino license. And Donald Trump has just pardoned him today. And there are four former 49ers as well as NFL representatives. Jerry Rice is there. Ronnie Lott is there. Derek Brooks, who's part of the front office in the NFL. Even Jim Brown was there. So Donald Trump has pardoned Steve DeBartolo. Okay, now, on to the next subject. It's going to be a special night Saturday in Vegas. I'm going to tell you something. There's nothing like a undefeated heavyweight championship fight is going down in Vegas. The rematch. Undefeated WBC champion Deontay Bomb Squad Bronze Bomber Wilder goes up against the undefeated lineal champion Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. The rematch from their epic December 2018 fight. Oh boy, I love it. I love it. It is nothing like an undefeated heavyweight championship fight. We knew this was coming. All these fighters had to do was handle their business in their two fights that they had after their initial fight, and we knew that this was coming. And it's here. It is here. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be star-studded. There was a point in time 2 years ago that there was just one fight that we wanted to see, and it was Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua, who won his rematch against Ruiz. But Anthony Joshua's people found some way to not have that fight happen. And then last June, he got beat. Now, in December, he did come back to regain his title in a boring fight, but nonetheless, he won. So he has 3 belts again. But to be honest with you, what we found out from that Anthony Joshua first loss to Andy Ruiz was that the 2 best heavyweights had already fought. They had already fought in December of 2018. The first time Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury got in the ring. And it was a draw. Hell of a fight. I wasn't mad at a draw. I personally thought that Deontay Wilder needed a knockout, but I'm not mad at it. I was not mad at a draw one bit because I knew we'd see it again. And even if Anthony Joshua and Wilder are to fight to unify the belts, it won't have the same luster as it would have had if Anthony Joshua had not lost. It just wouldn't have. But I'm not going to get in on a fight that hasn't and may not ever happen. I'm going to get into the super fight that is going to be on Saturday, February 22nd. And I can't wait. Now, I'm going to talk boxing strategy because, quite frankly, Tyson Fury put on a boxing masterpiece that first fight against Deontay Wilder, but got caught a couple of times and got dropped. I think what people fell in love with, though, was the fact that after that second knockdown, which was just absolutely brutal, I thought it was over. The fact that he popped up like the Undertaker and then got up and came back and really was nailing Wilder. And I think people fell in love with that. People fell in love with that, and it was absolutely great for boxing. If you were to ask me right now, who do I think would win the fight? We know I'm rooting for Deontay Wilder, and I like Tyson Fury. I do. I like Tyson Fury. I'm rooting for Deontay Wilder, but if you were to ask me who do I think is going to win, I honestly would say right now I think Tyson Fury. Because I haven't seen anything from Deontay Wilder in the 2 fights that he's had since the Fury fight. And of course, the first fight with Dominique Brazil was a first round just haymaker masterpiece. But I haven't seen anything that shows that he's made any adjustments from that first fight. And I could tell that by watching his second fight with Luis Ortiz, with King Kong Ortiz. Now, we know that Deontay Wilder has said they have to be perfect for 36 minutes. I only have to be perfect for 1 second. And that is true. He has the most devastating knockout punch in the heavyweight division since Mike Tyson. But the thing is that what Tyson Fury showed the first fight is that, he can take it and he can get back up from it. Now, if you're Tyson Fury, you don't want to get dropped repeated times. You don't want to get dropped at all, but you don't want to get dropped repeated times because you lose rounds that way. That's how the fight ended up being a draw. But for Deontay Wilder to win this fight, he cannot just sit there and look for the big shot. He has to be busy. He just has to move his hands. He has to make contact with Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury, for as big as he is, he's not a power puncher. He's as finesse a boxer as you will ever see. He's like giant white Mayweather in the boxing ring. He is as finesse a fighter as you can see. Not saying that he can't hurt you with his punches, because he's still 6'9", 270 pounds. But boxing is his game. He's not going to get in there looking to outslug you. He's looking to outbox you. And he's so swift on his feet. I've never seen a big dude, a guy that big, so light on his feet. And Deontay has to be busy. He has to look to win rounds, not score knockdowns. If he fights the exact same way that he fought the first fight, he will lose. He will lose. So he has to make an adjustment. He has to keep his hands moving. He has to keep squatting. I don't care if he hits him on the shoulder, if he hits him on the arm. If I'm his trainer, I don't give a fuck. Just make contact with him. Matter of fact, I would tell him to bang that body out, because one thing, Tyson Fury, he's 6'9", 270, but he ain't no body. He never has a bodybuilder type. There's a lot of real estate in that belly. He's not gonna come in the ring looking like Anthony Joshua or Vladimir Klitschko or even Lennox Lewis. There's work to be done in that midsection. And to me, if Deontay Wilder comes in there and focuses on the jab, focuses on the body to slow that movement down, that knockout will come. That knockout will come. Tyson Fury, he just has to be more. All Tyson Fury has to do is just be more careful. That's it. I mean, he outboxed Deontay Wilder. I mean, Stevie Wonder could see that. He clearly outboxed Deontay Wilder, but he has to just be careful. That's it. That's all Tyson Fury has to do. Be careful, stick and move. That's it. He in there fighting like white Apollo Creed. That's all he has to do. Is just stick and move. Move in, move out. But it's a fascinating fight, because this is what the sport needs to be. You got the two best fighters in their weight class, two undefeated champions, not worrying about the politics of boxing, not about all of that other stuff, but you're just getting in the ring to fight to see who the better man is, and that's how the sport needs to be. Because that's the one thing that kills me with boxing, is you take away fights that need to happen because of your own self-interest. And I'm not saying the fighter's self-interest. I'm going to sit there and say the promoter's self-interest, because they want to protect their investment You know, why do you think Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford hadn't gotten the ring yet? And you almost lost. Errol Spence almost lost it all in that horrible car crash. Thank God he's okay. He's actually about to get back in the ring, but he needs to fight Terrence Crawford. It trips me out that when they interview Errol Spence Jr. and they talk about the contenders in the welterweight division who he would like to fight, they don't even say Terrence Crawford. And I understand because he's with PBC and all of that other stuff, and he's with PBC and that's with Fox, and Terrence Crawford is with ESPN. Hello, Tyson Fury is with ESPN. Deontay Wilder's with PBC. They're doing a joint pay-per-view. If they can make it happen for this, they made it happen with Pacquiao Mayweather. They made it happen with Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson. They can do it for Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford. They need to stop bullshitting and there's a lot of money to be made off of these fights. And if it's a great fight, guess what? You see it again. This is what I love about Wilder and Fury. They're like, damn this. We trying to see who, because I'm sorry, Anthony Joshua taking that loss, he may have 3 belts, but he's not viewed as he's not viewed as the best heavyweight in the world anymore. No, he lost that. He may be seen as one of the best, the 3rd best, but the 2 best heavyweights are fighting Saturday night. They're fighting Saturday night. And that's the way that the goddamn sport needs to be. The 2 best getting it on. The 2 best welterweights in the world are Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford. But what is Errol Spence Jr. talking about? Who he talking about fighting? Oh, yeah, I wouldn't mind fighting Danny Garcia. Oh, I wouldn't mind fighting Manny Pacquiao. What? And I'm not saying that Danny Garcia wouldn't be a formidable opponent. Or Pacquiao. I don't want to see Pacquiao fight Errol Spence. No, I think Errol Spence will fuck him up. At this age. Just to be honest with you. But, I mean, come on. And Terrence Crawford is only fighting his mandatories, and people are criticizing him. Well, he ain't fought nobody. Bro, he's only... Because the people he want to fight don't want to fight him. You know what I mean? That's crazy. That's crazy. But it's going to be a great, great, great night for boxing. I cannot wait. I don't know if I'm going to do another podcast before then, just strictly concentrating on that fight. But I can't wait. Like I said, I'm rooting for Wilder, but right now my logic tells me that Fury should win. But with that being said, what a buzzer, what a buzzer, what a buzzer! Covered a lot of information today. Like I said, I took a week off, but I'm here. And again, if you have not hit that subscribe button, go ahead, hit that subscription button and holla at your boy. Oh, by the way, last week I did drop an R&B track called Coming Back It Up. It's on my YouTube page. It's actually a track that I had did a while ago. I just decided to redo it to do it, a little more justice. So that's cool, you know what I'm saying? Just did that, check that out. But definitely hit that subscription button, become part of the Sports Plus Life family. It's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns. I'll holler at y'all later. I'm out. Peace.